afternoon, Roxy Soxy.
Good afternoon, Tam. How you doing?
We just decided to do this impromptu podcast and just see how it goes. Maybe we'll throw it out on a Thursday. Maybe we'll twice a week do this show. Maybe, who knows? If the people want it, they should let us know.
Yeah, it's all good fun. Why not try it out? See what the crowd wants.
You know what? I've just been missing you. I've been missing talking to you, and I love having our guests on, but I realize there's such an awesome dynamic between the two of us where we literally don't have to have any subjects to talk about, and yet we will be 45 minutes in and we'll be like, we've been speaking this entire time.
We're like the Seinfeld of podcasts. We are just
anything. Yeah. We should just call ourselves Women on Seinfeld. Oh my gosh, that sounds way. That came out wrong.
I love it. I love it. No, you can't fake chemistry, can you?
No. So what's been going on this week? I don't even know what week it is. I feel like we're just in this deja vu of every single day, 14 months since the pandemic started.
I'm a little bit not happy with the fact that now, because I know you guys are still away, so you've been doing homeschool, but we got our daughter back in school, but now it's almost summer break, so it's she's been
I know we're coming back to Los Angeles to put her in for a month, because I actually said to Sean, I was she hasn't had any real connection with kids or her friends. I mean, a few over here, but we still have to be careful, we don't know them, so we're going to go back. And then you're right. I feel like we've just been on one long summer break for a year and a half.
Yes, it's literally been a huge summer break. And basically, they've been in school for 2 minutes, and now summer break is happening. I'm already getting asked by other parents, what camps are you doing? What are your plans this summer? And it's I can't even believe it's already summertime,
I know.
Are you a planner? But are you usually a planner, when it comes to your kids' activities in the summer? Because I am not. I am the last minute.
I did not know that about you.
Yes. Did you not? Oh my God. I'm the last minute. Oh my God.
About you.
Yes.
I have a friend who just texted me last night, and she's please tell me your exact EX, but in caps, right? I'm oh my gosh, because she's such a planner. Exact dates, and we, capital W, capital E, need to figure this out tomorrow. Capitals tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. That is definitely not me. I will say that since we had Dr. Aman on, who is that brain expert, that diagnoses ADHD and all these other things. So Again, I haven't been diagnosed with that. I'm going in next week to, oh my gosh, that's a whole thing in itself, because they inject my brain with radioactive material. That's what it's called. And I'm freaking out. My health anxiety is what? But I'm noticing that my ADHD, if that's what I have, gets worse when I have to plan things summer. And there's just a lot going on right now. Because there's so much going on, I'm finding it hard to plan. If that makes sense.
Yes, and it's also the weird thing about the pandemic, even though, we've been at home and it seems you have all the time in the world, you actually don't and no. I feel for me, because I'm not a good time management person. That's why I'm always late. Yes.
Are you really always late?
I am always late, and not because I don't respect other people's time or anything. It's because I have the worst time management skills in the world.
That's so interesting, because I feel when we were shooting this show in person, you were always there before me, always. And I don't feel for example, when you have to give your notes in on time, even for this show, you're always a day early. I don't know if it's because you know that you have your kid later, that you're not going to be able to do it, or maybe you enjoy your night so much that you don't want to be working at night, or I don't know. But for me, I feel it's 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock, and I start listening to the show and it has to be uploaded an hour later. That is not cool. That's cutting it really fine.
You like to live on the edge. You like to live.
I know.
No, I think for me too, the reason why I think I do it when she sends it is because I know I'm gonna forget. I'll forget to do it, and then I'll be oh shit, it's now it's nighttime and I have to figure out. But I have the night shift usually, with the childcare such.
Yeah, same.
So, so I have to okay, I've got to maximize. I try to get as much work done during the day while she's at school as I can. Does that always happen? No, but I try to do it at that time. But then I always just forget, if I don't get it done,
It's interesting about time management, because I saw a girl that I'm an acquaintance of, Jana
Mhm.
Kramer. She was we met through Johnson and Johnson, and I was watching her stories, and she
Mhm.
had a story today that said, I'm always early for things.
Mhm.
I feel like if you are on time, then you're late. Or are you like number A or number B? And
Ooh.
I would say for the most part, I'm on time because, my job with filming, you can't really be
Mhm.
late because if
Right.
you're late, it's like it is such an issue. And if
Mhm.
you're the person who's holding up production, you
Mhm.
don't really get hired again. Like people
Right.
know, yeah, people notice that. And like, if you're on a radio show or
Mhm.
whatever, like you have to be on time. So I would say I'm like 5 minutes early, which is probably considered
That's
late in a
good.
way, but I
No, but
but
that's
I'm
good.
not I don't make people wait for me, but it's probably just because it's been so ingrained.
Mhm.
Um but I don't know, Los Angeles has this, I do feel like it has this like ego, people
Mhm.
just kind of show up when they want to show up. It's kind
Mhm.
of like they're not thinking of, maybe it's not good to show up to the party an hour late. That might not make the other person feel good. Like
Mhm.
people are very self-serving as a generalization
Mhm.
in Los Angeles, that I feel like people in Los Angeles are always late.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true, especially like in the entertainment field. It's like you're saying, like, I think it's also like a status thing. Like, if you're able
Mhm.
to be late, like, to especially to like a work meeting or something like that, then maybe you are perceived to have like a higher status because you're the boss and you can come in whenever you want and like, that kind of a thing. I think there's definitely that too. There's
Mhm.
also really bad traffic in Los Angeles.
But you should plan for that
It's
then.
true. It's true, but sometimes, I'll be driving and I'm like, "Oh my god, wait, it's already taken me like an hour to get from like
I
one
know.
side to the other." When you think it's going to take, it technically should only take maximum like 30 minutes to get
I
across
know.
town. But because of our traffic here, and you know what? Like
Yeah.
now the traffic is so bad again, Tammin. It's like how it
Yeah.
was
Oh.
before.
See, in Austin, it's 15 minutes to get anywhere. That's like the running joke. It's like, how long is it gonna be? 15 minutes. How long is it gonna be? 15 minutes. You know what I like about Austin, and
Uh,
I am missing California,
mm,
because there's something about it that is akin to like, the dreamers. Like
yeah.
everyone who goes there has a dream. I mean, other than if you were born there and your family's from there, but a lot of people are transplants. And when you get there, you're like, I've come here for a dream, and it's something
Mhm,
greater. And there's all these people with a lot of hope, and but sometimes that hope doesn't happen, and I mean the dream doesn't happen,
mhm,
so the hope kind of goes, and then you're left with a lot of bitterness that is sometimes the things that you'll find. What I find about Austin is there's not that shit fight, like, excuse my
mhm,
French, like in some of these bigger cities like a New York and a Los Angeles, and I'm sure
mhm.
like a Chicago, whatever, it's like to get anywhere is just an ordeal, like to
Yes.
park, to, get in, sitting in traffic. And I think that's why a lot of people are really mass exiting some of these
Mhm,
bigger cities, because after this pandemic, they've realized that, they don't want their life to be everything to be such an ordeal. And they don't want to have to sit in the car
mhm.
and for 2 hours it takes to just go across town, when somewhere else it could take like 20 minutes, and like all that wasted time. I think there's a mass exodus going on, and it's because people are realizing that some of the things that these big cities used to give them
Mhm.
maybe is not what they want anymore.
Yeah, it turns into a quality of life issue. It's like, do you want to live in a place where you can, slow down maybe a little bit, enjoy life, not
Yeah.
feel like, because I know for me, when I'm in Los Angeles and in New York, especially when I'm in New York, because we used to live there, I always felt like I was running to get somewhere. Like I
Right,
was always
right.
running to get somewhere. And it's like nonstop, rat race. And so, like, I do see, like, today I opened up Instagram and another influencer friend, they're moving to Nashville. Like,
Yeah.
made the announcement, and there have been so many of those announcements. So many people are leaving, and
Yeah.
it'll be, I guess we'll see if they make a return or if they end up staying there. I mean, I guess I'll see how it
Yeah.
works
I
out.
think also money too,
Mhm.
you work so hard that you
Oh,
want your money to go as far as it possibly can.
mhm,
And when Austin's actually a lot more expensive than I thought. I think that the home prices are in a way cheaper, and there's no state tax.
mhm,
So obviously that saves you money, but like pound for pound, when you go to a restaurant, your coffee's still $5. It's still
mhm,
$5, maybe a dollar more in LA, which is so
mhm,
crazy these days that it's that expensive. But like when you work so hard and you're spending so much time time, like even away from your kids, and you're working so hard, you want to like try to see your bank balances go up. And we're going to talk to a money expert, and I'm so excited. But it's nice to see savings. And we, in these bigger cities, you go there and you're spending so much money just to live, just to get by, just to get to the next day, that I think people were like, enough. I want to own my own home now. I don't want to rent anymore. I don't want to spend an astronomical amount of money on rents, and not even in a big place, like in small apartments sometimes. Like, it's just so crazy, And I think people are also, because of this pandemic, wanting space and wanting, like, if they're spending so much money on a house that doesn't have a lot of space, they're wanting to be around, the environment and wanting to be outside with their kids. And you can't always have that when you're in a big city.
Yes. And just like you're saying, the day-to-day expenses, it's almost $5 for a gallon of gas here now. It's crazy. And groceries are so expensive here now too. It's like, just to do like things like that. I mean, it's just like your day-to-day living should not cost that much, it just shouldn't.
And it makes me angry that like even healthy food, and we have so many health experts on the show, is like healthy food and food without additives or preservatives or whatever is more expensive. So of course a family of 4 who's working really hard and trying to save would go to a McDonald's where it costs like $1 for a burger, but like a happy, like maybe a meal is like $5.99 and you get, fries, a burger, like, you're being drawn to whatever's the cheapest, right? And unless we make healthy food more accessible for everyone, then people are just going to keep going down that path. And it's hard to like have a better life. And even talking to Dr. Shivali the last week or so, it's hard because, when you're putting stuff in your body that isn't good, how's that going to affect your mental health?
Yes, it totally does. And I didn't realize until we had some of these experts come on the show is that so much of your mental and emotional health is tied into what is in your gut and like what you are consuming, and vice versa. It also affects your emotions and your thoughts, and like it just, the whole thing is so connected that it's like in order to improve one, you have to improve the other, and it goes like both ways. You like mentally and emotionally, you have to be at a certain level, and then the things you're putting in your body, it's the same thing, or you're going to have that inflammation and all those bad thoughts and things like that.
It's hard though when life is so busy and we've got so much going on. It's hard to like even know where to start. Like, I know I eat well and I exercise and I take vitamins or whatever, but I know I could be better, right? But it's almost like I don't even have the energy or the mental capacity to like really clean up my diet. You know what I mean? And again, I eat gluten-free. I don't have dairy. We're vegetarian pretty much. I'm really careful, but I know like I don't have to have as much probably fat in my diet or whatever, and not to lose weight and to be thin, but to feel better. But it's almost like, how do you have the energy to take care of yourself?
You don't. That's the thing. We're spent. It's like, don't have any energy. I mean, we give so much. Like, we were talking to Dr. Shafali about this whole notion of like, especially as moms, we are meant to live and die by the sword of our kids. It's like the more self-sacrificing we are, the better moms we are, and like the better people we are. And we're so expected to just give and give and give and give and give and give until there's like nothing left for us. So it's like that last little push that we need to give ourselves isn't there, because it's like, we don't have the energy to do it. We're not like nourishing ourselves properly, like mentally, emotionally, even physically to be able to do that.
It's hard.
It's really hard.
It's hard. So what are you thinking about for summer? Like, what are you guys gonna do?
So
more of the same. I know people aren't traveling, right? I mean, I see people on my Instagram and they're like in Puerto Vallarta or wherever the heck they are, or like Tulum. Everyone's going to Tulum, and I'm like, do people feel safe? Do people feel safe to travel yet? Because I know I don't.
Like, I think,
and I'm vaccinated.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think, I've seen a lot of people traveling internationally. I think there's like a bug and an itch, to like kind of go somewhere and do something. I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about international travel yet. I mean, I think we are going to be going on a plane this summer for like the first time since the start of the pandemic.
To Boston?
to Boston. Yeah, to Boston. And then I think to New York for work. So I think we'll see how it plays out. I mean, according to like my friends who have flown, they say that it feels very safe and it's very clean and they really weren't worried about it. But I think because we'll be taking our daughter, like it'll be a little more nerve-wracking for me because she's too young to be vaccinated. So that is a concern for me. Plus, obviously there'll be people on the plane, I'm sure, who aren't vaccinated. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but I think, I don't know. It's for me too, like as far as like childcare goes over the summer, I think I was telling you this before, but I'm very much like a last minute person when it comes to like booking camps or like booking, because mostly because we don't really even know like exact dates of sometimes of like,
right, of course. And when you live this kind of nomadic lifestyle, which people don't understand, and a lot of my friends don't get, including some people, not my immediate family, but in my extended family, they don't understand that. Like, I might be going somewhere internationally for a job in 2 months, but I might not be. And people are like, what do you mean you don't know? It's like such a big thing. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I don't know because things fall apart. I don't want them to fall apart. But like when you're in the middle of shooting, you can be in the middle of a movie and it falls apart and you don't make the movie anymore. Like,
does that happen?
I mean, it hasn't happened to me, but it's happened to a lot of people I know. Or you can like be cast in something and recast. That happens to people all the time.
So like, okay, so like they'll get cast for something and then like just all of a sudden like the studio, like whoever will be like,
okay, money will be pulled. Like all of a sudden the investors, someone will pull out and all of a sudden they won't have enough money and it will stop. I mean, it happens all the time. Our business is so volatile that it's really difficult to like really know what you're doing with your life. And you end up living that nomadic lifestyle.
Wow. So you kind of just have to adapt to it, right? It's like you just kind of have to, see that the chips fall where they may. But like, I know. So they'll like legit like start like a film, like production on a film, and like.
I mean, I wouldn't say all the time, but definitely a lot of the time. Or they'll run out of money. So like they'll be 3/4 of the way through, and they'll be like, "Oh shit, we don't have enough money to finish this film." And again, recasting happens all the time too. Like you can be cast in a TV show. It happened on Pretty Little Liars. Okay. The Toby character, he was another person in the pilot. And they recast him, and which is so sucky. I mean, it's sucky for the person who got recast because that was life changing for Keegan, who played Toby. So, it's a very again, I go back to that word volatile, and you can't really plan anything. So we're trying to figure out schools and for the fall, but we really don't know, because if I do this job internationally, I could be gone from 3 to 9 months.
So because you don't really know if you're planning
don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Wait a minute, hold up. What was the backstory about the recast on Pretty Little Liars?
They're actually honestly, I don't think it was anything salacious or weird. I just think, trying to really think. Yeah, the guy who did the pilot, who played Toby, was the loveliest guy, and we had such great chemistry, like as brother and sister. And then they just recast him. And you never know, sometimes it's like because the person has a conflict like 2 months later, or because the person doesn't necessarily look like the other lead character, or they didn't test well. Like people didn't like their characters, and testing means they show the pilot to a room full of people and then they say yes, no, yes, no. And, you're at the mercy a lot of the time of other people's opinions about whether you'll stay on a show or not.
That is stressful. Because it's really not in your control anymore.
Not in your control.
Wow. So, so no gossip then about why the recast happened.
I mean, there's lots of other gossip we can talk about.
I know.
I don't know if it's about that.
I think you should give our audience a PLL jewel because they love it. Give them a good jewel. What's a good, like, something they might not know?
I mean, I wouldn't say all the time, and I wouldn't say who it was, but there was like a restaurant. I don't know if this was I don't know if it was Pretty Little Liars, or if it was like, because I've done so many episodes of things, I'm like, what show is this? But a lot of the times, like, people will go to lunch and go and have like drinks and like go have fun and then go back on set, and everyone's like just a little loopy, I mean, that's kind of the most. I mean, again, Lindsay Shaw talked to us when she was on the show. I'd love to have her back about her having, drug and alcohol issues. And you could definitely tell that
Could you
something was,
tell? Okay.
yeah, you could definitely tell that something was going on. And it breaks my heart for her because I wish that she was able to talk to someone or talk to one of us. And I don't know if it was handled that well. When people see someone suffering, you can't really tell that they're suffering. It just looks like they're being obnoxious in a way because they're like taking drugs or alcohol. But that's not what was happening. She was obviously going through a lot. And I just wish that she had, been able to get the help that she deserved and needed.
Was she able to like do her lines and stuff and still function like
Yeah, that's the
professionally?
funny thing about actors. Like, there's a lot of functioning addicts.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I have never been one of those because I'm just so afraid of fucking up. And I just would, just being a good girl, which is what we've learned through a lot of these experts, was so important to me. So, like, I just didn't want to fuck up. I didn't want to be fired. My job was also really important. So I just never, ever, ever did that.
Wow. So you never really drank and like on set or anything like that?
I definitely drank, but not on set. No,
Oh,
I would never.
okay. I'm like,
I'm actually not.
ooh.
I actually could be a drinker because I love how it makes me feel, which is like it takes away my anxiety. But I never would be. I don't like to go past a certain point. When I start to feel out of control, I don't like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So like after one or two drinks, like I'm good. I had 3 drinks about a month ago and I felt very out of control because I just felt really drunk. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like to not know what's happening or what's going on or what I'm saying.
Right.
That I don't like.
Yeah, because it makes you feel out of control.
It does. I like the calm aspect, but then I don't like to feel out of control.
Yeah, yeah. And then the next day isn't so fun sometimes.
I know. And as you get older, it's just like, holy butt balls.
Yeah. What is like the deal? Why do these hangovers like they just want to hang on? They
We're
don't want to
getting
go.
old.
Oh, it's such a bummer.
Do you feel like life is just going so fucking fast all of a sudden?
I do.
Or is it like you felt like that for a while?
Well,
you feel it's going faster.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely as I get older, I feel like it goes faster. But in the pandemic, it was a bit of a time warp, because of the kind of Groundhog Day feeling of every day, basically. But now that it's starting to pick up, like, look, we're almost halfway through 2021.
It's just crazy.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's like, okay, so like we get halfway through 2021. So now there's been this whole, school year for our kids. Now it's like summer. And then it's like, now they're going to be in 2nd grade next year. And it literally blows my mind,
I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because we're doing less. So it feels like it's going faster.
Right.
Or when you get older, time seems to move. Because I remember being young and it would take forever. Like a year just took forever, right? Like to get a year older to have your birthday. Yes. I'm just like, how come my birthday? I just had my birthday, you know?
Totally. Oh my God, it's so funny. My daughter now, she wants to be old so badly. Like she wants to be the oldest one and all this stuff. And I'm like, girl, you better enjoy being young. I know. You want to be young when you get older, know?
And it's weird because like I've really been trying to work on my inner peace with getting older, and it's not easy. I feel like the messages we've had from very early on is like being old. I know you say it's a privilege, but we haven't ever had that narrative thrown at us. It's never been like in our culture. It's not like, oh, really look up to people who are older. We dispose of them. We put them in old age homes. Like we don't, they're not really part of society. My mom wrote this amazing book. I'm now called a senior. What the fuck? That's literally the title.
I love it.
And it's, her little log line is like from retire to inspire. And she wrote the book and I'm so proud of her, but she wrote it because she started to feel invisible. You get to a certain age and it's like gone. It's like senior special, but like gone or like like things aren't being made for you. The world isn't designed for you. And it's especially our culture too. It's like getting older is like when you start to not be seen. So like we're obviously getting, people are getting Botox and fillers and they're trying to like, be seen by the world and they're just not.
No, but it is true what you're saying about like, I think a lot of it does have to do with like the cultural aspect. Cause I know in my dad's culture, he's Pakistani and they take care of their elders. Elders are like
Right.
meant to be respected, and they come and they live with you at a certain point, and it's like they're so revered in that
Mm-hmm.
culture. And it's funny too, my aunts and like the older women that I know in that
Mm-hmm.
culture, I haven't used Botox and haven't used,
Mm-hmm.
different things to their face. They just sort of like let nature sort of, I mean, they
Yeah.
use creams and things like that, but topical, but like they just sort of let nature take its course. And it just is
Mm-hmm.
really interesting to me that in this country, and I think too, because we're in this entertainment business,
Mm-hmm.
so much of an emphasis is put on, our looks and
Mm-hmm.
going backwards in time, not really going forwards.
But we don't ever see, that's not true. I feel like we don't see a lot of aging gracefully on camera.
Nope, we don't.
So it now becomes the new normal. So every person is trying to play catch up all the time because all our A-list stars have done something to their face and no
Mhm.
one discloses it because it's like this weird illusion that we're meant to like buy into, which is like everyone just looks like this. Our skin loses collagen, what starts losing collagen at 25 years old, and by
Mhm.
the time we hit 40 it rapidly goes down,
Mhm.
and sugar accelerates it. They don't really talk about
And the
that.
sun,
So
and the
and the
sun.
sun gives you
Mhm.
more wrinkles, but it's like because the collagen will start to leave from your face, and if you see people who don't, most of the time they're doing something.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. They are doing something. And it's like, we hear the thing, because I talk to people a lot on the red carpet, and people want to know, like the
Like,
audience
how do you
wants
look
to
so
know.
good? And they're like, oh, I
Yes.
sleep, I drink
Drink
water. It's like
water.
no one's
Exactly.
saying, no one's saying, oh, I got this like
Exactly.
really intense peel that rips my face off for
Yeah,
2 weeks. Like I'm
exactly.
doing laser treatments. I get Botox injected into my cheeks.
Yes.
I've had an under eye surgery. Like no one says that. And so what happens is our girls who will grow up inevitably will be like, oh, why don't I look like that?
Right. No, it's true. And then they are filled with a sense of like unworthiness and self-loathing because that's what they see, and they feel like they can't compare to it, which is really sad. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the whole thing, I mean, obviously to each his own, whoever wants to do what they want to do to their face or their body, go for it. But I don't know. For me, I just, it's really hard. I kind of want to maybe stay without doing inject. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I could change my mind tomorrow. Like, here's the thing, it could go either way, but I haven't done anything yet, but maybe I will in 5 to 10
Yeah.
years. Tomorrow, who knows? But
I feel, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like the only reason you're not doing injections is because you hate needles.
yes, I really
Like if you weren't
also
afraid of
hate
them, you'd be like,
needles.
sure.
I am so freaked out of needles, and you have seen that firsthand.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like needles. So, yeah, there's that.
I mean, maybe topically, like I definitely want to do more micro needling. I think
Yeah.
that's great. It's like little needles that go into your face, and it helps like the skin wake up through collagen, and it creates like little abrasions in your face that
Mhm.
you produce more collagen. I like that. I like that theory behind it.
I like
But I think we
that
also need
too.
to work on the inside because
Yeah.
I think that's probably, I don't know. Can you get treatments done to your face, Botox, fillers, whatever, and love yourself internally? Can you have both?
I mean, I think that, okay, here's the thing. I mean, another way to look at it too is like Botox fillers, things like that. Why are they not like the same as like getting your hair cut and colored, or putting on makeup, or kind of other things that people don't necessarily question, like just because people get their hair, and hair and makeup done, let's say, people don't say, oh, but do you love yourself on the inside? You know what I mean? So it's like maybe those things are just like, doing like haircuts and colors and things of that nature. But I mean, I think it's all perspective too, and like intent. And if you're doing it for yourself, truly for yourself, I think you can love yourself still, and be fine with that. But if you're trying to do it for other people,
Right.
then I think that's where the kind of the problem lies. Then I'm not quite sure if it's, if you're
Mm-hmm.
loving yourself as much.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
I
hard.
don't know. I've totally working on trying to the internal stuff, and it takes time. Like it doesn't happen overnight. Like sometimes
Mm-mm.
I feel like I don't look good and I'll say, but you're worthy because of X, Y, and Z and you're enough. And, but sometimes you still want to look good, because
Yeah.
it's just like so ingrained in us to be look pretty, pretty,
Mm-hmm.
pretty, pretty, pretty.
Pretty.
And I don't know how that narrative's ever going to stop if we're still putting that out there. Like I spoke to this one your friend. I went to his house,
Mm-hmm.
the couple that
Mm-hmm.
and he is a plastic surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, we had drinks with them. He said to me that our eye actually, like our brains can tell what's pretty or not because it's like
Oh,
about symmetry
okay.
and about specific features that like even they've like done studies on this that our brain knows what is attractive and what's not attractive,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And like it gives us pleasure when it sees a certain look on someone, and when see like if someone's like attractive, it's almost like you give them more opportunity, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
like it's just this is been going on for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all about that. So it's like, how do we change maybe what's innately in us as humans to notice what is pretty and what is not pretty, and just like not even have that as part of the equation? It just like it is. Like this person has this hair, this person has this
Yeah.
hair, this person has this size, this person this size. Like it just isn't about being pretty or not pretty. It just is.
Well, if it's that ingrained in our brains too, and it sounds like it's part of evolution, can you even change it? I
Right.
mean, it's like if it's already there, I mean, maybe it's you realize it's there, and then from there you make the decision to,
Right.
okay,
Right.
go one way or the other. But like, I think it's really hard if it's like already ingrained. I mean, I don't know what that would take to undo that, you know?
Yeah, you see like an attractive guy walk past, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, he's or a girl. That's an attractive guy. That's an
Yeah.
attractive girl. Like you notice it straight away.
Right.
You
And you
know?
do, I mean, I see where that is. I see like gravitating towards, that sort of, the beauty
Yeah.
aspect and like who you find attractive. And, beauty is different for each person. It's not like there's only just one standard of beauty for everybody, but like I can see where, if beauty resonates with you in a certain way, like being gravitated and attracted towards that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
But
saying?
why does it make it like it's almost like beauty gives power? Like why do we make it powerful? Like, like why can't we just see it
Mhm.
and then not make it mean something? Like
Right.
because we do like models, I'm sure it's a hard job. Like I've
Mhm.
been on photo shoots, it's exhausting, but
Mhm.
their job is because they were born that way.
Right.
It's not like something that you work for, you have to go to school for. It's not a skill set. I mean, yes, I do think modeling in some way you have to know how to stand, you do have to, and I'm not putting modeling down,
Right.
but it is a job just based on what you look like.
Right.
You
It's
know what
true.
I mean? And you get money paid
Uh-huh.
for how you literally are born.
The
And
genetic
if you
lottery.
look at
It's the
and if you
genetic
yeah, and if
lottery.
you haven't a face that is considered attractive, you
Mhm.
have the opportunity to make money based on that face,
Right.
not based on anything else.
Right. Yeah. The only thing that is a little bit like I think turning the tides a little bit is that I'm noticing a lot of the modeling agencies now are
Yes. More
incorporating more like
representation.
real, yeah, more representation and more sort of what they call, which is kind of silly, but real looking people, like people like
Right.
everyday
Real
looking
bodies.
people, yeah,
Right.
real
Right.
bodies,
Right.
and which it should be anyway. I mean, that should be beautiful anyway, but yeah, so I see like where the tides are turning, and I see more like the campaigns now with
Mm-hmm.
designers and things like that and brands are incorporating, women and men of all, shapes and sizes and
But
skin
isn't their
colors.
face always looking the same kind of way? You know what I mean? Like you'll have a plus size model, but
Mhm,
again, her face
mhm,
looks stunning.
mhm, yeah. Yeah. No, it's
But
true.
can we have people modeling that symmetry isn't there and they just look, I mean, like just normal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think you're understanding my point. My point is,
Mhm,
we are giving models opportunity because of their looks,
mhm.
but why don't we just put all different types of looks?
On display
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be right. And actually in some ways I almost think that would help the clothes sell better because you see what it actually looks like on somebody. Like, whereas when I look at like an ad campaign, if it's like your kind of typical 5'10", 110 pound, skinny,
Mhm.
thin, beautiful model, I know that, oh my God, yeah, the clothes look amazing on her because she looks like a clothes hanger. But
Right.
on me, those clothes I already know that's not going to look like that on me. So I'm already kind of
Right.
thinking to myself, well, it looks good on her, but I don't think it's necessarily going to look that way on me. So a lot
Right.
of times I'll pass by and pass through and not get something. But I think if they actually use people that looked like everyday people who we see on a
Mhm.
daily basis, they
Mhm.
can actually sell more clothes.
Yeah, I like the way this is moving and
Mm-hmm.
the direction it's moving in. I like the fact that our little girls will now see lots of different shapes and sizes and
Mm-hmm.
people represented and, different gender. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's pretty cool. I think
Yeah.
I don't I didn't realize how stuck we were in the one way
Mm-hmm.
now that everything's moving the other way. I
Yeah.
mean, I was like, oh, I didn't know that you walked into like you watched things on TV and didn't feel like, as a transgender person that you were ever represented. So I
Mm-hmm.
think telling those stories are wonderful.
Yeah.
We didn't ever used to tell those stories. So I like the fact that Phoenix will be like, oh, that person's transgender, that person's from this ethnicity, that person's disabled, whatever. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like, it's the world
Yeah.
and even
And it's
America's made up
normal
of
to
all
them.
different
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and it's like we
Yeah.
can't just represent a certain type, because then if any kid is not that type, then we don't talk about it.
Yeah, it becomes normal to them, which is what's so great, which is what we didn't have, like
And mental
growing up.
illness, yeah, mental
Yeah.
illness too, all different types of it. Like people are coming out with all these different things that like bipolar is now not even something that's new. Like there's so many different things that people are struggling with. And I'm
Mhm.
like, wow, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like I'm
Yeah.
so glad that people are coming out and realizing that like the stigma is just destigmatize some of these, these ailments or
Yeah.
illnesses that we have.
Yeah. No, it's so great. And it just will only help people, I think, that we talk about these issues and make them feel not alone, and normalize the conversation that it is
Mm-hmm.
totally fine to talk about mental illness and all these different issues. It's like that's the point. And I think it'll end up saving lives,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really will. And on that note, saving a life, I better save my life and go pick my daughter up at school
Oh my
because
God,
she's
you're leaving me.
I
You're
know.
leaving me. Oh my gosh, can I tell you something? I wish you
Yes,
were
tell
here
me.
because I just bought all these canned wines. I was just like I was so influenced by the packaging. The packaging was so cute. It was like $10 a freaking can. I was like such an idiot. So I just bought all this wine and I'm like, who's gonna drink it with me? Like I
I'll
don't
drink it
even
with
know. Like
you
who's gonna drink it? I've got all
virtually.
this canned wine in the fridge. I
It
don't
sounds
even
like
know.
it sounds like there's going to be a party at your house tonight for
Yeah,
Secret
just
Fire.
with me, just with myself. So, but thanks, Rock Socks, for this extra
Thank
episode. You know what we should do? We should
you.
just like literally throw it out there.
Ooh, and see what people think.
Like a secret episode on a
Uh-huh.
Friday. And then if everyone's like, oh my gosh, I love this secret episode, we will
Do
do
more.
more episodes because I'd love to talk to
Yeah.
you twice a week.
Ooh, yeah, let's do it. We can
We could
always,
totally do it. So, guys, tell us
yeah.
if you want more episodes because we can provide that for
Yes,
you.
we can always give you more.
And maybe the ones on Friday can just be you and I recapping
Yeah.
the week,
Yeah,
shooting shit for
I
30
think it's
minutes.
kind of cool. I think it's super fun. But
I think it'd
maybe
be great.
next time we will cocktail with that canned wine.
Yeah, maybe Friday should be like cocktails with us every Friday.
Yes, I think so. Do you
Mhm.
have your canned? Is that canned wine?
No, it's a half dead grape soda.
Oh my God, I love it. Well, next Friday we'll come armed with our
Next
wine.
Friday. Well, thanks, Roxy Soxy, and
Thanks,
thanks, you guys. And don't
Beauty.
forget to rate, subscribe, and comment. And we are Women on Top Official on Instagram.
And Women on Top podcast on Facebook and Women on Top on Clubhouse.
Yes. And I am Tammin Sursock.
And I am Roxy Manning.
And we are Women,
on
Top.
hopefully with wine.